All right, so we got the moon in Taurus at the moment. So you know the moon loves being in Taurus. The moon is very exalted in Taurus. So that means you can be very, over optimistic when it comes to what you react and respond to, and putting yourself into a circumstance, situation, a predicament of pretty much being very clingy towards your actions, towards what you're fixated on, towards your gaining your safety, your security, and of course your comfortability. So this is basically going to put you into an aspect of, getting deeply rooted towards things that you're familiar with and, of course, comfortable with. We also got Uranus, aka shaking things up in Taurus. So basically, wherever you have Taurus at, Uranus is going to basically bring change, rebellion changes, and unique changes, and also changes that's going to pretty much put you into a very, very broad perspective when it comes to your visionary perspectives, and of course your goals, and of course what you are comfortable with doing in your own like manner, aka being yourself when it comes to unexpected changes and having your own innovative way of pretty much developing that change and that criteria. We also still got the Sun in Libra. So basically, the Sun in Libra wants you to take action towards relating and compromising with what you feel comfortable with, and of course, what you feel safe and secure with. So basically, you're dealing with two um energies, which is Taurus and Libra, which is pretty much in a situation in a process of Venus. Love, desire, pleasure, comfortability. So you could be very, lazy, stagnated during this time, which is cool because we just had the full moon. Yeah, relax. That's what the moon and Taurus want you to do. Pretty much relax, get comfortable. Don't get too comfortable. You still got a purpose and a goal. But try to like balance things out during this time. For me, we just had this full moon. You can still go through some unexpected changes, aka you can get yourself changed out of your body for worse or for better. But during this time, you want to put yourself into a situation of pretty much getting fixated on your way of being down to earth and practical during this time. And of course, make your comfortability and your safety and security. Make sure you predicating that towards your spiritual natures or your spiritual mechanisms. So pretty much, we also got the North Node in Taurus. The North Node in Taurus is pretty much focusing your lens and your viewpoints on, whatever you're fixating yourself on and getting deeply rooted towards. That's going to basically be your purpose. So basically, you need to have a purpose towards what you're doing and what you're getting comfortable, and how you value and appreciate those pleasures and those desires. Now, we also going to basically be dealing with a misunderstanding in the sky. So that's going to put us in a circumstance situation of misunderstanding ways to gain comfortability and relate that. Or pretty much that's going to basically be the energy that you're going to basically be manifesting or pushing off. But the better you're clear, the better the aspects play out into your mechanisms. Also, we also got we also just had Mercury went direct, and we had Mercury into Libra again. So of course, our minds is going to basically be very, relatable, balanced, harmonious, and comfortable. So the moment anybody want to pretty much stir up some things, you're going to pretty much feel the need to pretty much separate yourself from that, or try to like create balance in between that particular. We also going to basically be in the process and circumstance situation and pretty much going through those experiences. But we're also going to basically get into these energies, and of course the areas and locations where you need to pretty much react and respond towards feeling comfortable, safe, secure, and also taking compromisations towards those relatabilities, or sharing and relating your comfortability and safety and security with others. Balance. Now, if you got the moon and Taurus in your first house, you're gonna be placed into a circumstance situation of feeling comfortable to react and respond towards getting deeply rooted towards your personality, your personal appearances, your personal outlooks, your personal expressions, of course, your personal relatability towards others that you got within your personal space and location. You got to see your second house, you're gonna be placed into a circumstance situation of having the power, and of course going to extremes of having the power control to feel comfortable with when it comes to your resources, your material, your safety, your security, and of course what you value, and of course what you have to put off in the world when it comes to your styles, your creativity, and your talents. Got to see your third house. This pretty much feeling the need to pretty much get real comfortable with unexpected changes and getting deeply rooted towards your own way of thinking and communicating and sharing ideas with others. Fourth house, this is pretty much extreme energies when it comes to feeling comfortable with getting deeply rooted towards home, family, and privacy, or dealing with unexpected changes and dealing with your home and family and privacy. Fifth house, unexpected changes when it comes to your creativity, your expressions, your romance, your children, and of course things that you bring fun and enjoyment with. Sixth house, unexpected changes when it comes to your work, health routines, and what you do on a day-to-day basis. Of course, your work environment can go through some unexpected changes, and also this is pretty much having your own deep rooted way of pretty much developing your own schedule system. Seventh house, this is pretty much getting deeply rooted and feeling comfortable with going through some unexpected changes when it comes to your relationships or relatabilities. You will Scorpio ascendant. Eighth house, this is feeling comfortable with dealing with oppositions, which is the eighth house in Taurus energies don't kind of like connect. It's always the opposite here. Differences. So you're gonna pretty much you're going with the 180. You're dealing with the 180 of separations when it comes to your privacy, your desires, your passions, your motives, and of course your sexual urges. And having your own deeply rooted way to pretty much, gain power and control over that. Ninth house, you're also gonna pretty much go into some areas and locations where you're feeling the need to get deeply rooted towards your beliefs and your experiences in life and your moralities. 10th house, getting deeply rooted when it comes to unexpected changes when it comes to your status, career, and goals. Now, these changes is not always good, not always bad. But if you take the bad and blend in with the good, you can pretty much mix things up. 11th house, getting deeply rooted with unexpected changes when dealing with your associations, your groups, and your friends. And last but not least, 12th house, getting very deeply rooted when it comes to your spirituality, your spiritual natures, your spiritual mechanisms, and how you pretty much conduct yourself when it comes to getting deeply rooted down to earth and practicality when it comes towards putting your own deeply rooted faith towards your spirituality and your. Now, if you got Mercury and Libra, in your first house, we're going to basically break this down. So Mercury and Libra, the Venus and Libra, and of course you got Sun and Libra. So you got 3 planets. That's going to put you into a circumstance situation of dealing with a stellium. So with stelliums, there's a whole lot of energy, there's a whole lot of influences in these areas and locations. Now, if you got Mercury and Libra in your first house, you're going to have the power and control to act, think, and value and appreciate new ways on how to communicate and relate towards your personal balance, your personal structures, and of course your personal compromisations when it comes to personal relatabilities which you have with others. Second house, this is coming up with a new way to value, take action, and appreciate, and of course communicate new ways to value and bring compromisation towards things that you touch and hold and feel, and of course areas and locations that you can pretty much get new ways to feel deeply rooted in when it comes to that perspective, because you're also dealing with Venus. Also, if you got to see your third house, it's coming up with a new way to communicate, relate, and compromise when it comes to your ideas and your way of analyzing things and sharing it with others. Fourth house is coming up with a new way to communicate, take action, and evaluate and appreciate a new way of pretty much compromising with home, family, and of course what you got going on when it comes to your privacy. Fifth house is pretty much coming up with a new way to communicate, relate, take actions, and value and appreciate hobbies dealing with love, romance, and of course fun, entertainment, and enjoyment. You could pretty much develop children during that time, so be aware of that. Or you can develop energies or individuals that's pretty much that's bringing that influence in your life. Sixth house is pretty much coming up with a new way to communicate, relate, and compromise when it comes to developing a new work health routine or a new mechanism that can pretty much go in your favor. Seventh house pretty much creating new balance and compromisations when it comes to your relationships and equilibrium and balance when it comes to your one-on-one relationships and personal relationships or dealing with enemies. Eighth house is pretty much coming up with a new way to pretty much think deeply, communicate, and relate deeply in a new compromising way when it comes to people, places, and things. You probably are Pisces Ascendant. Ninth house, if you got this in your ninth house, it's just pretty much coming up with a new way to communicate, relate, and of course create balance when it comes to your way of compromising and relating, and of course developing experiences when it comes to spirituality, morality, religious beliefs. 10th house, coming up with a new way to communicate and relate and compromise when it comes to your status, career, goals, and reputations, and of course what you're developing on, and of course what you're trying to gain and build structure with. 11th house, coming up with a new way to communicate and relate, and of course associate your way of compromising when it comes to your associations, your groups, your friends, people, places, and things that you're trying to create visions and of course dreams with that you could pretty much work on with. And last but not least, if you got this in your 12th house, this is pretty much coming up with a new way to communicate, relate, and fantasize about your dreams, your imaginations, and also put yourself into a situation of being sensitive and caring towards the world around that you have within yourself, and of course that you have with others. And that's going to basically be what's happening again as Mercury made its way back into Libra again.